the Gnostics?
For centuries, scholars knew about the Gnostics principally from what Irenaeus had said about them in his 5-volume work Against Heresies, the more complete title of which is On the Refutation and Overthrow of Gnosis, falsely so called. Other church fathers, such as the wildly imaginative Epiphanius of the 4th century, also attacked Gnostics, but many of their views appeared to derive from Irenaeus. In modern times, scholars have learned much more about Gnosticism from other sources, as such discoveries as the Nag Hammadi Library have provided us with first-hand accounts of what the Gnostics believed and taught. These discoveries include books written by Gnostics for Gnostics. As such, they set out the Gnostics' own views, not simply their views as attacked by enemies such as Irenaeus. For this reason, they allow us to compare what Irenaeus has to say about Gnostics with what the Gnostics say about themselves. In broad terms, Irenaeus appears to give us a general sense of what Gnostics stood for, even if he is completely off base in numerous details and wrong in many of the allegations he levels. Based on a reading of Gnostics' own writings combined with a critical reading of Irenaeus, what can we say about the Gnostics? The first thing to note is that some scholars have been so impressed with the enormous range of beliefs and practices labeled Gnostic that they think we should abandon the term altogether. For them, it is an umbrella term that has grown too large to be of any real use for describing the views that it allegedly covers. My own opinion is that this is taking the matter too far. It is true that scholars, and even Irenaeus, have sometimes inappropriately applied the term Gnostic to groups that do not fit any recognizable Gnostic pattern. And it is true that many of the things Irenaeus and others say about Gnostic groups appear to have been made up in the heat of battle. But, in my judgment, there were groups that broadly held to views that we can call Gnostic. If we abandon the term Gnostic, we may as well abandon the terms Christian and Jewish. These two are very broad umbrella terms that cover a range of religious groups, both in antiquity and today. In its broadest terms, Gnosticism refers to a number of religious groups from the early centuries of Christianity that emphasized the importance of secret knowledge to escape the trappings of this material world. The name Gnostic itself comes from the Greek word for knowledge, gnosis. Gnostics, then, are ones who are in the know. And what do they know? They know the truth that can set them free from this world of matter, which was created not by the one true God, but by lower, inferior, and often ignorant deities who designed this world as a place of entrapment for elements of the divine. Gnostic religions indicate that some of us have a spark of divinity within us, a spark that longs to be set free from the prison of our bodies. These religions provide the secret knowledge that allows us to transcend our mortal, material bodies to return to the heavenly realm whence we originally came, where we will once again live with the gods. This may not sound particularly Christian, and in fact there were Gnostic groups, Irenaeus apparently didn't realize this, that were not connected with Christianity. One of the debates that rages among scholars today is the relationship of Gnostic groups to other forms of Christianity. Did Gnostic religions begin independently and possibly prior to Christianity, and eventually come to interact with communities of Christian believers so as to influence them and to be influenced by them? Or is Gnosticism, as Irenaeus thought, a perversion of Christianity, and therefore later in origin, which sometimes took its views to such an extreme that it no longer looked like traditional Christianity? However one resolves these issues, it is clear that most Gnostic texts known today show some connection with Christian thought, in that it is usually Christ himself who brings the knowledge necessary for liberation from this world. As Jesus himself is recorded as saying in the Gospel of John, "You shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free." John 8:32. Many Gnostics love the Gospel of John. Here Jesus is portrayed as a divine being come to earth from the realm above in order to lead people home by revealing the truth needed to transcend this world. But Gnostics had lots of other texts as well. Some of them explain at greater length how this world came into being in the first place, how some sparks of the divine, some of us, came to be entrapped here, and how we can escape. Some of these texts, a number of them found at Nag Hammadi, express these teachings in highly mystical terms, narrating a set of myths to explain our existence in this world. There are different myths told in different texts, and they cannot all be reconciled in their many details. Still, most of these myths start before the beginning described in the book of Genesis, when there existed just one transcendent, completely unknown and unknowable divine being, who was exclusively spirit, with nothing material about him. In eternity past, this divine being generated other divine beings out of himself as personifications of his own characteristics. He was eternal, and so eternalness itself came into existence as its own divine entity. He thought about himself, and so his thought came into existence as a distinct being. He was alive, and so life came into being. He was all light, no darkness, and so light came into existence. He was wise, and so wisdom became a divine being. Some of these divine beings themselves, in pairs, generated yet other divine beings. Eventually, the heavenly realm was filled with such divine beings, often called eons. Together, the eons make up the entire divine realm, known as the pleroma, which literally means the fullness. All of this took place before there was any universe. There was only a divine realm, but a cosmic disaster occurred. One of the eons, for some reason, fell from the divine realm, leading to the generation of a different kind of divine being, one who is generated not within the pleroma, but outside it. This misshapen and imperfect being is called by different names, most commonly Yaldabaoth, which may be related to the name of God in the Old Testament, Yahweh, Lord of Sabbaths.